Okay guys, so this is another contemporary mini review thing, and the books for this specific video are Scandal by Sarah Auchler, as well as Breathe Annie Breathe by Miranda Keneally. There were unexpected arrivals. This one was totally unsolicited from Simon & Schuster, so thank you. And this one was sent by Miranda Keneally herself because I was raving about wanting it and she actually signed it for me. So that was really nice of her, and I've read both of them. This is going to be like a 5-star books edition because both of these books are 5-star reads for me. So first talk about Scandal by Sarah Auchler. It talks about a girl, Lucy, who ends up being a prom substitute to her best friend's boyfriend, Cole. And she doesn't really want to because she's had like a crush on Cole ever since he moved to their town. But she had to because she felt she can never say no to her best friend. That's where the book starts. It starts at prom and like Lucy and her monologues and how like nervous she is and how she feels guilty for liking him. After that, the people move to an after prom and lots of stuff happened in after prom that you don't want your parents to see. And one of those things is actually Lucy and Cole ending up kissing, which I thought was like, no, I don't like cheating in my books. That's like my big red line for me. It's a huge red line. But the way that Sarah Auchler dealt with this indiscretion was really, it was realistic. Basically, I'll go back to this, but what happens is that the next day she finds out that her phone's missing and she's like, okay, yeah, it's probably at Cole's cottage area because that's where the after party was, whatever. And then the next day she goes to, or she sees online that on her Facebook every single indiscretion that happened in the party is uploaded on her Facebook, including her kiss with Cole. Everyone starts attacking her online. And when she goes home, when she goes to school, everyone's like being very hostile toward her. They were treating her really badly. And what's funny is that some of the stuff that happened is way worse than just, you know, the normal kiss. But they were slut-shaming her so much. They would throw stuff at her, they would name her locker, post, you know, pictures and like really awful things. And there's something that I really liked about this book is that I personally thought Cole would turn into a douche. But the way that it was that Cole brought up something really important that is a problem in our society, and it is that it takes two to tango. So if Lucy kisses Cole, it also meant that Cole kissed Lucy. So they're both responsible for their mistake. But for some reason, only Lucy is getting the blame. And he points that out. I should also be slut-shamed, but we know that's only a girl thing. Another thing that was pointed out was that most of the slut-shaming was done by girls. And what I liked here is that Lucy's best friend, she was the one that brought that up. She was the one that defended Lucy and told them that it's none of their business, that imagine if Lucy imagine if your sisters are going through this. Would you want your sisters to go through this? So it got me thinking, even though this is supposed to be like a fluffy book, but it really got me thinking in that, yeah, why is it always the girl? Why? And not even that, but the girls are the ones that are slut-shaming the girls. Is it because they feel like if they do that, then it means that, oh, we have nothing to do with this, we're like innocent? I just don't get it. I know some people are like hating on Lucy, like how would she do that to her best friend? But there's more to the story than meets the eye, as in the picture. So I would suggest you reading it to know more about this aspect of the story. It's not just that. There's a whole mystery of who wants to screw over Lucy. Why would they do that to her? Why would they pretend that they're her and then upload all those horrible photos of people and basically exposing them to the world? Because that's basically cyberbullying. And she got a lot of crap for that, because, you know, there's no proof that it's not her. And then there's also an organization or a club called EVIL, E-V-I-L. This group are anti-technology, anti-internet, anti-anything that came out of the end of the 20th century, and they believe that the government is monitoring everything we do on the internet, so they don't want any part of it. Initially I'm like, what? Why are they here? Like, what's going on? I'm so confused. But over time, Lucy starts, you know, becoming friends with them, and they start helping her with the mystery. She starts, you know, forming this friendship with these weird people that we all thought were weird initially, but they're not weird. They're just them. They're just how they are. that's what they believe in, that's how they are. Yes, they don't conform, they don't fit into the typical high school mold, but why does that mean that they're weird? They're not weird, they're just them. That's just how it is. Lucy soon realizes that after meeting them and like getting to know them and becoming friends with them, and she becomes friends with them and friends with other people that she typically wouldn't be friends with, and it just makes you think like, if we just try to, you know, move outside the box, outside our comfort zone just for a bit, then we can forge and make friendships with people that we would never think we would be friends with, and that actually could be really good friends to us. So I feel like this is more of a friendship, more of a what direction we all should be thinking in terms of people and judging people and all that stuff. Of course, the whole romance between her and Cole is so dreamy, like you can't forget that. I think they're so adorable together, and I really like how realistic it is. I like how Lucy isn't perfect. She makes mistakes, but she feels regret. She doesn't make excuses for herself, and that's what's important to me, is that you're not making excuses for yourself. You're not saying that what you did is okay. You're actually, you know that you're wrong. You're admitting that you're wrong. You're trying to right your wrongs. You want to right your wrongs, and we've all done mistakes. Doesn't mean that we're bad people. It just means that we're human, but it's the way that we move on from that mistake and how do we resolve it that I find what defines the type of person that you are. So I really like this book. It's 400 pages, but I literally read it in a couple of hours. Could not stop reading it. It was cute, it was funny, it was serious, but it was all like seriousness but masked in a way that would be entertaining. So I really suggest you guys reading it. I know there haven't been the best reviews for this, but I'm like, you know, to each their own. You might like it, so I liked it. 5 out of 5 stars. It's gonna take me a while to edit. The next book is Breathe Annie Breathe by Miranda Keneally. It was also a one-day read. This is the 5th book in the series, but if you notice, the cover is completely different from the first 4, and I kind of understand why, because this becomes more mature. This book, I feel like, is for a mature audience than her fourth earlier books, and it talks about Annie, who is 18 years old, and she's trying to participate in a marathon that her deceased boyfriend wanted to participate in, and it was I think it's a 26-mile marathon. However, while he was, you know, still preparing for it, something happens and he passes away. And oh my god, my heart. We get little snippets of the past and the time that they spent together, and it just rips my heart out. It really, I teared up so many times on the mention of Kyle and how she's dedicating this whole thing to him, and 26 miles is pretty crazy. It's a lot of dedication. So knowing that half a mile made you like this and you're supposed to run for 26 miles, I applaud her for sticking to it and, you know, wanting to do this. So basically, Annie doesn't come from a rich family. She lives in a trailer park. She has an older brother that's very protective of her, and I really like him. And she has her mom, who currently they don't have the best relationship because of the whole Kyle thing. Her mom wants her to move on, but Annie can't seem to move on. I just really liked her family. I loved her family support. Annie signs up to this marathon training, and the person that trains them is Will. And if you know, Will is actually the guy from Things I Can't Forget, which is the 3rd book in this series, and he's a trainer. So she starts getting trained, and she actually has to pay $300 a month for this training. So it's really expensive, and it's financial commitment as well as, you know, time commitment, energy commitment, mentally committed. It's a lot of commitment. So she starts, and it's just her struggle to reach her goal. And what I really liked is how this was included. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is like every week she trains, and this is how many miles. So I guess this is a sheet that Will gave her, as well as just some notes, and she writes some notes that I find really interesting. I really liked Annie. I feel like she's so loyal, and she's so, her feelings are so raw, and they got to me on like a really deep level. I feel like Annie was really mature, and her way of thinking, I just really liked getting into her head and reading about her experience and basically what she's going through and all that stuff. And then of course there's the introduction of Will's brother. I loved their friendship initially, when even though they kind of sort of went past that initially, they kind of backtracked and became friends, and I just loved their friendship and how vulnerable they got with each other, and it was okay. So I loved seeing their feelings, and it was basically an emotional book. It's more about Annie and how she is honoring Kyle, and how does she move on from there. Like, okay, so there's this guy, now she might like him, but does she feels a bit like she's betraying Kyle in a way, but at the same time, I mean, when is it an okay time to move on? And I feel like Miranda Keneally really dealt with this aspect really well. I was a bit worried at how some people would react and such, and how Annie herself would react to her emotions, but I feel like it was done really well, and I really liked this. I teared up multiple times reading this book, and there were some emotional scenes that I truly loved. So 5 out of 5 stars. Pretty much my favorite out of the 5 books. This is my favorite. My second favorite is Things I Can't Forget, so it's nice seeing Will here. And yeah, I really like this book. So I am loving these books. Haha, contemporary. 2014 is the year of contemporaries. I'm telling you. I will leave both of their written review links below if you guys are interested in reading more of my in-depth thoughts about them. So let me know if you guys are interested in any of these books, and that is all. Have a nice day. Bye!